Hi everyone, this video is a bit special for me. This is the 100th video I am uploading in this channel. I started this channel as a way of maybe capturing parts of my professional and personal journey 7 years ago in 2017, around the same time when I started my PhD journey. I did have this channel, but obviously I did not put any videos there. I actively started doing that around the time I started my PhD, and then sometimes I used to put quite frequently. Then there was a big lull, then life happened, PhD work, a lot of other things, and these days whenever I feel like I really need to talk about something, or I want to put some travel video which I am really enjoying editing or as a record of my life experience, I put it there. Not really I don't feel the compulsion to post a video. I put it when I feel that this needs to be said or I need to talk about it. So it has become more like a hobby and more like a portfolio of what defines me out in the internet. So this is the 100th video. And what I want to talk to you today about is the very important aspect of finances and your money matters while doing a PhD in India. As most of you who are seeing this video would know, right now YouTube is flooded with influencers, a lot of people telling about mutual funds, buying equities, diversification, all that, FIRE movement, hitting your first crore and all those things. Yeah, it's interesting to see, obviously, but back when I was doing my PhD, or even before when I was working, as obviously YouTube was not this big, it became this big after COVID, and yeah, obviously parents and other people used to say about the importance of saving money and financial security, not really financial independence, but financial security and all those aspects. But the youthfulness of the young blood, early 20s, I had 2 jobs before I started my PhD in NVIDIA and in Bharat Electronics. I didn't save anything, mostly a PPF account was there. I used to put money in that too, not very frequently, but whenever I could, I used to put money. It was not that I couldn't, but it never occurred to me as a priority that I should put money there. Looking back, that was a mistake. I should have saved in a better manner, not really compromising on enjoying life or taking it in, but just about a bit more prudent or financial due diligence, you can say. So coming back to, managing your finances during a PhD is a very important thing, in my opinion. I wouldn't say managing, I would say how I tried to manage my expenditure during PhD would be a better way to characterize it. Important thing to note here is the opportunity cost. Most people who would be doing a PhD are going to do it in their 20s, early to mid 20s to late 20s or early 30s. This is kind of like the time where you're in your prime youth, where you can actually spend time at a job, grow your careers, increase your salaries, you can say, increase your skill sets and all those things. So you are willingly, consciously taking a decision to not choose that path and go into a field of scientific inquiry, and as some people might call it, a noble path. But then it is also important that you have something to get food on your table and take care of your medical expenses, or something happens to your family, because that's life. And for whatever it may be, at the end of the day, you are only there for yourself and your close family, and at some level you need to have some kind of financial planning, whatever you are doing. People might say that, oh, you are doing research, you are into all the intellectual things, maybe you don't have time to do the finances and all those things, but that's just ego satisfaction. That's not reality, that's not being practical. While I say this, I am not telling that I did amazing financial planning bought a lot of stocks and I am having a lot of money now. That's not the case. I didn't do any of that. So that's why I wanted to share my experiences in as candid a manner as I can. So to give a context, I joined for the PhD at IISc when I was 27 years old. I had worked at NVIDIA and BEL for a total of around 3.5 years. I had taken a break of a year and a half to prepare for civil services, engineering services, GATE and other examinations. And I did that while staying in Bangalore. So that was expensive. I was paying the monthly house rents, my food expenses, etc. So, and this money I took out from my savings, whatever I had from the jobs I did. So this break actually was between my work at NVIDIA and BEL, and I quit BEL and directly joined for my PhD program. So coming into my PhD program, I would say that I did not have much of bank balance. I had some money saved up in my PPF account, maybe 3-4 lakhs perhaps, I can't recall right now, and maybe around close to a lakh or even lesser in my bank account, being very open about it. That's the amount I had in my bank account going into the PhD. Looking back, it should have been much better. Now with all the awareness that's going around now, that was not the case even 7 years back. So I joined for an usual MHRD GATE through GATE PhD program. So I was getting the regular fellowship, not the PMRF, etc. When I joined, PMRF was only available for people who had graduated after 2014, and I had graduated in 2012 and I was joining for a PhD after 5 years. So I was not even eligible to apply. The rules thankfully changed after a couple of years. So that aside, I was on the most common of PhD scholarships. So when I started, the JRF or the first 2 years, you would get 25,000. After you finish your comprehensive examination or 2 years, you would get plus 3,000, so around 28. A year after I joined, this 25 became 31 and the 28 I think became 35. So it is 31 and 35. For the first 2 years, I was getting 31,000 per month, and the next 3 years, I got 35,000. And I extended my PhD for another 6 months, and I was not getting the salary, but my supervisor arranged money through other projects so that I could stay afloat. So that was the monthly amount that I was getting. From this, for anybody who does a usual PhD, they stay in the hostel, they get the hostel food, and that comes to around, at that point of time, maybe around 6,000 rupees in total. And even for PhD, there used to be some level of annual fees that was around, I think, 15,000-20,000 a year or a semester, I can't recall, but around that amount. So that was the money, and then you take, so that's like, let's say you got 25, around 7-8k goes in all these expenses, and you get around 15 to, even if you say 10,000 gone, 15,000 remaining, with which you basically, if you want to send money back home or splurge on some things, go for the occasional trip, eat outside, all that happens in this amount. And my case was a bit different because I spent my entire 20s in Bangalore. As soon as I graduated from NIT Calicut, the best part of my life after graduation, better part of my life and the best part of my life happened in Bangalore. So from 2012 until I left Bangalore to come to Belgium, 2023, I spent close to 12 years there. I have not spent time in any other city in Bangalore in my adult life, any other city in India in my adult life. So before joining PhD, I was already working, and my last workplace before PhD was very close to IISc, like 3 kilometers. So I was already staying in a 1 BHK house right outside IISc, and I was still deciding whether I wanted to go back, get into a hostel or stay in my house. So I used to come in and go around, and I kind of felt that I was missing this normal daily routine. It was too quiet for me inside IISc, and sometimes in the dark it was too dark as well. I wanted something to feel happy and motivated, you can say, apart from the research and science. The colors and the lights, bright lights of Bangalore, the normal tea shop, the stores, the pani puri walas, everybody, and I wanted that. So I decided that I will not take a hostel room, and I will stay outside on the same house. So I stayed in that same up house. It was not an apartment, it's just a ground floor of a house until I left Bangalore for another 8 years there. Total 8 years I spent there, but in Ph.D. 5.5 years I stayed there for a rent of around 10,000 plus maintenance, so around 12,000 on rent, and that really helped my mental health, and I was able to have a lot of perspective and context while I was doing Ph.D. Every day when I go out, I see the normal world, and I can always get back refreshed on a daily basis back to my work. I needed that separation, especially considering how hectic it was. Me going out, it was not at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Many days, at least in the initial years, it used to be at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., etc. I had a bike which I bought a couple of years before joining for Ph.D. So my case was a bit different, but looking back, I don't regret that. It was a great decision. But there are a few things. I wanted to still have the hostel food, and I was told that I can only avail hostel food if I take a room. It was actually a wrong information that was shared with me. So that I can access hostel food, I took a hostel room for I think almost 6 months. So I was paying the hostel room, the hostel food, my house rent, and my petrol for my bike and everything. So 10-12k of rent, 5-6k of hostel plus mess food, another 2k of petrol. So almost my entire money that was coming was just going. I did not save anything. I just have some, and I realized after 7-8 months that I was just eating into whatever initial money that I had in my account. So this went on, and after 6 months I realized that I really don't need to have a hostel room. So I vacated the room, got some amount of my deposit back. I enrolled only for the mess, though that happens at a slightly higher cost. So I continued to use the mess facilities, which had very good food, and more than good food, it's the regular balanced diet that you can get from the mess, which is very important. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I did that for maybe a couple of years until my comprehensive examination, and then I realized that I am enrolling for the mess, but I'm hardly eating from there. Most often lunch I would go with my lab mates to some cafe inside, not really to the mess and all those things, and I delisted myself from the mess, and thankfully at that time for another year I was eating in random places. But then after that I found a very helpful auntie near my house who used to cook food for us, and who used to then ended up cooking, giving food to many of us for a daily rate. That was also a very good blessing in disguise for us. So that's the food scene and the travel scene. So my main point was that 25 was coming in and most of it was going out, and after a year I think it became 31, and after comprehensive it became 35. So things became a bit more manageable. But then it's during the most prime years of your life, it's the peak productivity moment of your life, and you are not really making money. You are just, it's subsistence income. I know people would say that 35 is still a good amount and all those things, but you have to see the opportunity cost. You would have earned much more and would have been in a much more better financial situation had you done something else. But then you are in this noble pursuit. Yes, you will get a degree at the end of the day, but then if something happens, do you have the buffer to sustain that hit? I did not even think of such things at that time. I realized all that only when I was wrapping up my PhD. So for those of you who are starting PhD, I would advise that be more careful in the money that you get. Maybe save a bit, enjoy life also a bit. When I end the video, I will end with an anecdote. But enjoy a bit, but maybe make some regular savings, and that would indeed help. And when you look back at the end of your PhD, another good thing is that, okay, you have the degree, and if you also have some savings, you could feel proud that, see, even with this much income, I could still save some amount of money. That will indeed give a lot of positive boost to you. And the another important thing is that if you could survive in a city like Bangalore with a salary like that, staying outside, then you can survive anywhere, and whatever more salary that you get, you will always feel that comfort level but you could appreciate that comfort much more when you are out of this process. On top of this, thankfully, I did get some occasional incomes. I used to do some TA work for some NPTEL courses, so that used to give, like, for one course a TA amount of a month's salary, like around 30,000 rupees for 4 months together. And these asynchronous payments really helped a lot, and also I guess that was there. And initially when I started out, in the initial years, I used to even do something like a freelance technology consulting to some companies like Pre-Scouter, but they used to give per project some amount like $100, $50, etc. But I soon realized, thankfully, that it's like people going outside to study and doing part-time jobs. Nothing against that, but you need to always have this perspective. Why are you there? Are you there to get your master's degree? You are already going there after paying a lot of money for the master's degree, right? So you need to get value out of that degree as well. Some people get lost in this part-time business, part-time job thing, that they lose focus in what they are trying to do, and they get enrolled in this, I have to make more money so that I can survive better, and they kind of get the kick out of this part-time income, and they lose perspective. It's always important to do some things in part-time, but never lose perspective of the main thing that you are there for. So I was also getting very happy when I used to get this occasional incomes with my technology consulting, and the work was also good. But then I was momentarily losing track of why I am doing this. Why did I leave a good job, and come here? So there was a purpose for that, right? So then I willingly stopped doing that, decided to focus on only my PhD journey, and that helped me in the long run. Yeah, this is more like an unstructured video, random thoughts, but this was my financial status and how I tried to manage my finances by staying outside IISc and trying to do PhD. Whatever happens, like I mentioned in another video, I would always go for a ride or a breakfast Sunday morning, and we always used to, with my wife, and we always used to make sure that Sunday mornings are for us, and that helped a lot. So whatever it is, that you still make time and money, set aside everything for these simple happinesses of life, while also not losing context of why you are doing what you are doing at any given point of time, and also whether you are saving up some amount of money for a rainy day in the future. I would like to end with a anecdote I think I saw in some of the other videos, that some guy was telling that you see a lot of influencers telling that, what if instead of buying an iPhone you put the money in XYZ stocks, in the same year that you use the iPhone for 3 years, the stock would have become 10 times, 20 times. All that is fine, but the example that he gave was that nowadays a hotel room costs, simple example was about visiting a tourist place and booking a good accommodation. A hotel room now easily costs 3,000 for 4,000 rupees. Even 5 years back, this used to be easily 800, 900 rupees, and you could have enjoyed all that for a lower amount of money, even though obviously incomes would have been different, but then at that point of time you could have enjoyed that more. So who knows, 10 years in the future the same room would be like 15, 20,000. At that point you will think more, and also you would have more responsibilities in life of enjoying that. So make sure that we, God forbid, touch wood, that everything goes on well in your lives, so that at any given point of time you also enjoy what life has to offer, while also saving up some money. So never lose context of what you are doing at what point in time, and also about your financial buffers. That's all what I wanted to say, and thanks for watching my 100th video. Thank you. Bye bye.